Rain crawled across the courthouse steps in shimmering lines, a slow cleansing that polished marble and memory alike. The storm had come early that evening, soaking the last reporters as they fled for cover, their umbrellas black petals against the glow of streetlights. Inside, the corridor smelled of wet wool and echoing footsteps, the sound of another day ending, another life quietly rearranged by the power of law. Julian Cross walked alone, his polished shoes whispering on tile, the click of his cufflinks marking time with a lawyer's precision. He could still hear the verdict in his mind, "Not guilty." Two words that bent the air and rewrote a man's fate. His client, a soft-spoken antiques dealer accused of ritualistic murder, had walked free only an hour ago. The evidence had been airtight: fingerprints on the blade, candle wax residue beneath his nails, neighbors who heard chanting in the dead of night. But Julian dismantled it all with surgical calm. He knew how to peel truth from evidence until nothing solid remained. To the public, he was a savior. To the courts, a legend. To himself, a craftsman. But somewhere in the back of his mind, a question lingered. Why did it feel like the verdict had already been decided before he spoke a word? That night, the city glittered beneath a curtain of rain. Julian's office rose above the downtown skyline, glass, steel, and the faint hum of electricity that filled lonely places after midnight. He poured himself a drink, the amber catching the reflection of lightning through the window. On his desk, a single object broke the order of his life: a red envelope. No postage, no name, just there. He didn't remember seeing it that morning. He turned it over. The paper felt thick, almost warm. When he tore it open, the scent of iron brushed his nose. Inside lay a small black card, the letters embossed in crimson ink. "The debt is paid. The balance remains." A chill moved through him, the kind that begins behind the ribs and crawls upward until breath feels borrowed. A prank, perhaps, a rival's game. But something in the phrasing, in the finality of "remains," rooted itself in his chest. Thunder cracked outside, washing the room in a flash of white. That's when he saw it, the mark on the wall behind his desk. A circle intersected by 3 vertical slashes, faint but distinct, glistening like something wet. He leaned closer. It wasn't painted. It was cut into the plaster itself. He traced it with trembling fingers. The grooves were shallow but deliberate, the edges darkened as if sealed by heat. Beneath the surface came a faint sound, a slow mechanical ticking, rhythmic and patient, like a heartbeat muffled behind stone. He stepped back. Pipes, he told himself. Old wiring. The mind invents noises when it's quiet enough. Yet the sound followed him as he crossed the room, always the same pace, always behind the wall. Days passed. He tried ignoring it, but the ticking lived in the edges of things, in the buzz of courtroom lights, in the shuffle of papers, in the silence between sentences. His paralegal noticed his distraction. She left early 2 days in a row, and then never came back. Clients stopped returning calls, and the marks multiplied. First on the office wall, then on his leather briefcase, then etched into the condensation of his bathroom mirror, 3 slashes inside a circle, always perfectly drawn, always appearing overnight. Sleep became a negotiation. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard whispering that sounded like pages turning underwater. Sometimes he woke to find his courtroom notes rearranged, the ink smudged into faint red lines forming the same symbol. By the end of the week, the news broke. The man he'd just defended, found dead in his home. No forced entry, no sign of struggle. A glass of wine spilled beside the body, a faint smile frozen on his lips, and carved into his wrist the same mark. The police called it a coincidence. The papers called it poetic justice. Julian called it impossible. Still, the ticking grew louder. He began revisiting old cases, tracing timelines, searching for patterns he didn't want to see. One thing united them all. Every impossible acquittal, every last-minute save, each one had come after that midnight meeting years ago, when he had signed an exclusive agreement with an anonymous benefactor, promising limitless success. Back then, it had sounded like ambition. Now it sounded like damnation. The rain returned heavier this time, drumming against his office windows like knuckles. He sat at his desk long after midnight, the red envelope beside him, the ticking louder than ever. The city outside pulsed with cold light, neon veins running through concrete. He remembered that night years ago when a stranger had offered him the contract. The handshake that felt too long, the eyes that didn't blink, the voice that promised victory at any cost. He had laughed then, thinking it metaphor. But as thunder rolled again, he saw his reflection in the glass, and for a brief, shattering instant, it wasn't him. It was someone smiling back, someone wearing his face, but older, tired, and marked with a faint red circle at the throat. Julian stumbled back from the window, breath catching, the ticking now deafening. It came from the walls, the floor, inside his pulse. Every success of his life flashed before him. Verdicts, applause, champagne toasts, each one layered with the same whisper. The debt is paid. The balance remains. He looked down at his hands and saw faint lines of red ink tracing the veins beneath his skin. Contracts have clauses, he thought. Every promise has its cost. Outside, lightning split the sky, illuminating the city in white fire. He raised his eyes to the darkness beyond the window and finally remembered the name of the man who'd given him that first contract. He whispered it once. The ticking stopped. Then came silence, and beneath it, a memory. The sound of a pen scratching paper, sealing something that had never been unbound. The midnight meeting, the whispered promise, the blood contract.